Alright, welcome to my video. My name is Eckogen. Today we'll go over the mechanics for Iron Conqueror and Scion's Keep. This is for 12 men. We'll go over the roles. So you need one tank for the boss, one range tank for the range ad, one tank for the melee ad, two ball drivers, four conductors including the tank, and then six CCers. Phase 1 mechanics happens at 95, 80, 65, and 50%. So at these specific health thresholds, a message will appear saying Iron Conqueror activates a security device. Two ads will spawn in the corner of the room, diagonal to each other. Shortly after summoning the ads, the boss will toss persistent AoEs at the two furthest people. So the people baiting the AoE should be at the corners or the side of the room to keep the AoEs away from the ads and the rest of the raid party. Now, while the ads are being summoned, there's going to be 6 electrical orbs that spawn around the boss. A message will pop up saying the Iron Conqueror uses a destructive device. So this is known as the downfall phase. 3 of these 6 orbs will activate. So it'll either always be 12, 4, and 8 o'clock, or 10, 1, and 6 o'clock. So since the tank is facing at 12 o'clock, the only orbs you need to be concerned for conducting will either be 10 or 12 o'clock. So for this instance in the video, 12 o'clock is lit up, so that's the one people are going to line up. So each person should have a set distance to stand at for conducting the lightning. So we stand at 2, 5, 8, and 11 meters away from the boss in a nice straight line. And then as the orb fires the electric current, it's going to hit the person at 11 meters, which passes it on to the person at 8 meters, then 5 meters, then 2 meters, and then finally it hits the boss and will daze the boss. Be careful not to move the line until the boss is actually dazed, and then if there are any dead party members near or within 3 meters of the line, it can mess up the conduction. So if someone dies before this downfall phase, around the 12 or 10 o'clock line that's within 3 meters, they should be res as soon as possible, otherwise it could cause a wipe. As this is all happening, members who aren't doing the downfall mechanics are focused on the ads. The white ad is ranged and needs to be tanked as so, and the brown ad is melee and that can just be tanked and spanked in any kind of manner. There's no special tanking for that. The range ad will constantly throw hammers at the ranged tank, so make sure that the hammers are directed away from the raid. So for example, let's say that the ad right here is the ranged ad. So that would mean that the ranged tank would be in that corner right there, and they'd just be strafing back and forth to bait the hammers. The ranged tank will fire lightning at the closest person, and they'll do this twice. The lightning will bounce up to 3 times, and it must be shared. Receiving 3 stacks is instant death. So that's why it's important for people on range ad to stay close and share stacks. Once you get to 2 stacks, you can go away from the ad. Now, both the range and melee ad need to die at the same time. The ads have a 1 minute enrage timer. When the ads are at 10%, that's when DPS need to stop and then move away from the ad. However, the ball drivers need to remain on the ad and finish the last 10%. So DPS needs to stop at 10% and then need to let the ball driver finish the ad. When the ad dies, there will be a ball that spawns, and it follows whoever got the last hit on the ad. So as DPS, be careful about leaving any AoEs or any dot damage, as that might be the last hit that does damage to the ad and kills it, and then that means you would be the ball driver. You'll know who the ball driver is because there will be like a target marker underneath them. Now, each ball has a limited duration, so this is why you want both ads to die at the same time or very close. When the balls spawn, they're going to follow the driver, and there'll be an electrical line that connects them together. So this line needs to be kept on the boss to deal heavy damage. And you gotta be careful not to touch the line as it deals a lot of damage. And then you can see here the ball drivers are moving along the outer circular line, and that's the line they follow. So they need to communicate with each other if they're moving left or right. That way, when they're moving a line, it remains in sync and stays centered on the boss. The rest of the raid members need to pretty much stay aware of the line and then move with it, and same with the tank. So once the last orb is destroyed, the ball drivers pretty much they stop moving. So if this is done correctly, they should be positioned at 12 and 6 o'clock. And then shortly after, there's going to be a timer that displays over the ball when it has 5 seconds left before exploding. So just before the timer hits 0, either have the Force Masters or Destroyers sheath the explosion, and then stay in the full duration of the sheath if the ball counter is not synced. So for example, right there you can see the 6 o'clock one blew up before the 12 o'clock. And it's very important to not get hit by the explosion of the balls, because if you get hit by both of them, you get a debuff called, I believe it's called King Fist. And if you get 2 of those, you'll instantly die. And that is the mechanics for phase 1. So this is going to repeat until 35%. So remember that phase 1 mechanics happen at 95, 80, 65, and 50%. So here we go, he activates the security device, summons 2 ads. He's going to throw AoEs at the 2 furthest people. There's going to be 6 electrical orbs that spawn around him. And then here's the start of the downfall phase as indicated by this message here. So previously it was at 12 o'clock, now this time it's at 10 o'clock. And you can see because the orb has it's lit up with a circular sort of light around it. So that's how you know which line is active. So for 12 men, it's only either 12 o'clock or 8 o'clock or 10 o'clock you need to do for the line conduction. So people line up at 10. So there are 2, 5, 8, and 11 meters. And then if you do the conduction correctly, it's going to daze the boss. And DPS needs to remember that they stop at 10% and they let the ball drivers finish the rest. The only exception is that if the DPS is really quick on the range ad and you hit 10%, you need to stay until the range ad does 2 of the lightning shares. Because if everyone leaves besides the range tank, and let's say it only has done 1 lightning share, it's probably going to do the second lightning share, and it's going to hit all 3 stacks on the range tank, thus killing the range tank, and then you're not going to have a ball driver. So remember that the ball drivers need to get the last hit on the ad. So the ball is going to spawn, it follows the ball driver. The ball drivers follow that circular line, they communicate to each other if they're going left or right. Now, while this is going on, if the boss is casting this meteor attack right here, it's an AoE that appears outside the circle and it's going to hit 5 times. This attack will daze you if you do get hit by it. So we recommend you use Hong Moon Block when this attack happens. You don't want to use like Sheath or anything like that because it will immobilize you and it'll stop the ball drivers in place. And it's very important not to stop the ball driving because you need to keep moving that ball in order to destroy the 6 orbs around the boss. If you do not destroy the 6 orbs around this boss, he's going to absorb the orbs and he's going to heal quite a lot. Remember that if once you've done it correctly, your ball driver should be at 12 and 6 o'clock, and then they stay in position. And the ball's going to count down from 5 seconds to 1. It's going to explode. Make sure you sheath to avoid that explosion. And the mechanics just repeat again and again until you get to 35%. All right, so there it is. So activate security device. So 2 ads are spawning immediately in a range. He throws 2 AoEs at the 2 furthest. So that signals downfall. So this time it's 12 o'clock. So see how people line up for 12. And that conducts it correctly, which stuns the boss. And then DPS gets the ad to 10%. The ball drivers will do the rest. They need to communicate to each other at all times while this is going on. That attack right there is his spin attack. So he does a 8-meter spin followed by a 15-meter spin. So both of these attacks can be blocked. However, if you do get hit, it knocks you back. Alright, so the balls are spawning, lasers connecting. You want to keep the laser on the boss, as this is where most of the mechanical damage comes from. Because of the meteor, you want to use Hong Moon Block for the ball drivers. And then the lasers are going to destroy all those orbs around them. And they'll be positioned at 12 and 6. They stop. Orbs will be counting down from 5 to 0 real soon. So this is where the Force Masters or Destroyers will use their sheath to sheath you from the explosion. So phase 2 happens at 35%. So you'll see this message here. It says Iron Conqueror summons an Iron Star. So all ads and orbs will disappear at this point. All mechanics from 35% and onwards will solely be based on the raid. There are no mechanics to assist in the damage. So there will be 6 balls that spawn around him, and they'll all connect themselves with lasers. So the tank should be at 9 o'clock, and then the party should be at 7, and then another one at 11 o'clock. This message right here is going to appear. It says Iron Conqueror targets a player. So this means that the boss will aggro the closest player. So make sure this is the tank. So no one else should be standing close to the boss until after this message is done and he has picked his target, which should be the tank. The lasers will slowly move clockwise and they'll periodically stop. This move right here is called his sword dance. So there'll be like a room-wide AoE that happens. They cast it from. It does minor damage, and then he's going to shield himself. After that, he's going to pretty much do a room-wide AoE that's a 3 hit, and then you want to make sure you avoid that. So this you should always use summoner party protection. So the dandy stealth from the summoner, or you can also do the assassin stealth as well. That will also work. As the boss is casting AoEs, I would suggest using party protection skills that do not immobilize you while the laser is moving. For example, if he was to do the spin attack and the laser is moving, if a Force Master was to use Sheath and you're close to the laser, you're forced to either take the hit or take the laser hit. So that's why when the laser is moving, you should use like Hong Moon Block or Party Dandy, something like that doesn't immobilize you while you're protected from the attacks. Another thing to watch out for is the lasers themselves. So the hitbox of the laser, you should be looking at the shadow of the laser. That is the actual hitbox, not the actual red laser itself. So this is his cross attack. So he does one small one and another larger cross. It doesn't CC you at all, but it does do heavy damage. So if you can SS away from it, you'll pretty much avoid most of the attack. Alright, so the Iron Conqueror summons help. So when this appears, right now the party should be at 12 and 6, and then the tank should be at 3 o'clock. So when you see this message, an ad's going to appear, and there'll only be one ad that you have to deal with. The balls will be positioned at the edge of the room, so they'll be at 12, 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10 o'clock. And then shortly after, the lasers will disappear. The people responsible to kill the ad need to go to the ad right away. Those who aren't assigned to the ads have CC positions, so they need to go to their positions of the balls to CC them. And then, so when this message appears, it says the Iron Conqueror causes an Iron Star explosion. So this means that the balls will soon become targetable, and then the CCers should be in position by now. So the ball will have one CC bar, and then failure to CC it will cause it to explode and apply a rupture stack to everyone. People who are CCing the ball should have at least 125% accuracy, or they may miss. Rupture is a permanent debuff, and it prevents any sources of healing. You cannot cleanse Rupture by any other means other than dying. So dying is really the only way to get rid of it. So once the balls are all CC'd, or if the CC misses, they're going to connect with the lasers and they're going to move. So you need to watch out for that. During the CC phase for the boss will cast Breakdown at the two furthest people from the ad during that CC phase. So Breakdown is a linear AoE. Now, if the melee ad was summoned and those who are CCing the ball are near that ad, they need to beware of the suction AoE. So the suction AoE can pull you to the ad just as you're about to CC it. So this could cause you to miss your CC because you got sucked over to the ad. So once the CCers are done, they need to go help kill the ad. It doesn't matter who kills the ad as long as you kill it right away. So once the ad is dead, everyone needs to go back on the boss and start DPSing him. The lasers will reform into a hexagonal pattern, and they'll move towards and away from the boss several times. So since the tank is at 3 o'clock, you should be DPSing the boss at either 12 or 6. That way you're not getting hit by backslash. And then you can SS or dash to the red lasers. Alright, so he's going to use this message again. It's going to say Iron Conqueror summons help. So it's the same exact phase it's going to happen. So there'll only be one ad that spawns. It'll either be a melee or range ad. So it's always RNG. So the party responsible for the ad needs to head there ASAP and kill it. And then now the balls will be in position. The lasers will disappear. You see this message here that says he causes an Iron Star explosion, meaning that the CC bar is going to open up on them real soon. And remember that these balls are at 12, 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10 o'clock positions. So there should be one person at each one. It's going to open up. You need to CC them. If you miss any orb, it will cause a rupture explosion, and that's usually going to be a wipe. Once the CC is done, the laser on the balls are going to be active again, and they're going to start moving. People who did the CC for the balls need to go then on the ad, and then help kill the ad. And be careful as the laser's moving around the room. So for 35 to 10%, the boss is pretty much going to repeat that mechanic until you either hit a range or you hit 10%. So 10%, phase 3, is the last phase. So at 10%, the ads and the balls will disappear. And then from here, he has a set attack pattern until he dies. So after he does the meteor or cross attack, he's going to jump to the furthest person. So there's the jump. And then now he's going to fire breakdown on the person he jumped to. And then now he's going to fire breakdown at the tank. And then he's going to do a final breakdown at a random person. He's always going to do these sword dance attacks. So remember that he'll do an initial AoE burst, which does minor damage, followed by a shield, which will pretty much prevent a lot of damage from him taken. And then he's going to follow up with a 3-hit AoE. So that is when your summoner or assassin is going to pretty much sheath for you. He's going to do a couple slash attacks, and then he's going to throw 3 AoEs at people who are far away from him. All right, so here come the AoEs. So that is pretty much all you have to watch out for in 10%. So what you saw there, he's just going to repeat and repeat until he is dead or you hit enrage time. So that is the mechanics for 12-man Iron Conqueror. I will include the mechanics in the video description. If you have any questions, please comment and I will do my best to answer them. Thanks for watching. Hope that helped.